The whole country was founded on no kings. The authoritarians divide and conquer, and they create an other, and then they pick on it, and then pick on the person and harass them, jail them, and that's all used as a distraction so they can steal as much as they can, maintain power, right? We all know history, so that's what he's doing, and we have masked goons roaming the streets with hiding their faces, abducting people.
What the hell's he talking about? Can anyone properly diagram that sentence? Can anyone tell me what Captain Doofus was just talking about? The dork in that clip is Hollywood actor John Cusack. KC, who in the hell's John Nutsack? Hell if I know. I mean, I've heard the name before, but I couldn't name a single movie that John Cusack starred in, and I had forgotten that he was even alive before this past weekend. It was rather strange to see John Sack speaking to CNN. Last November, Johnny claimed that if CNN had it their way, Donald Trump would be president for life. Clearly, John Cusack does not watch CNN, which is understandable because no one else watches CNN either. Clearly, John Cusack has absolutely no idea what the hell he's talking about, which is why Hollywood actors should focus on what they do best. It's why Laura Ingraham told LeBron James several years ago to shut up and dribble. At the time, Laura Ingraham was crucified for having the audacity to tell a professional basketball player to focus on playing basketball. Why is she talking to our Bron that way? Why is she being a meanie? Laura Ingraham was trying to help LeBron James. She was trying to give him some valuable advice. I believe she said that in 2018, maybe 2019, if LeBron James had listened, maybe Adam Silver wouldn't have wasted the last 5 years trying to scoop NBA ratings out of the pooper. I know it's hard to believe, but we used to live in a country where politics was something that was discussed every 4 years. And that's if it was discussed at all. I remember growing up, it was considered impolite to ask someone who they voted for. Your political views were something that was kept private. When you were at the bar, you weren't talking about AOC, LGBT. You weren't talking about Zorro Mamdani and his desire to transform New York City into an Islamic republic. People living outside of New York City didn't give a shit about their mayor's race. Hell, people living in New York City didn't care about it. Back then, politics was a nuisance that we had to deal with every 4 years. But outside of election years, no one talked about it. No one cared. Believe it or not, professional basketball players, they focused on being basketball players. Magicians, they focused on making you believe in the world of make-believe. I guess it worked because there are millions of people in this country who believe we have a king. Back then, Hollywood actors, they focused on being entertainers. Late night talk show hosts focus on presenting the best show possible. Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien, they were on NBC for decades. To this day, I could not tell you their political affiliation. And to this day, I could not give a shit less about their political affiliation. When I was watching Conan O'Brien, I wasn't watching him to be lectured on abortion. What the hell does Conan O'Brien know about abortion? He is a dude. He will never have one. Well, KC, that's simply not true. According to doctors at Woke Memorial Hospital, men now have the ability to get pregnant. The medical term for a pregnant man is male birthing person. Yeah, these are the same doctors that pretend that Jill Biden is a doctor. If you go to pretend Dr. Jill to be treated for a migraine, she will treat you for a devastating hemorrhoid. The point is, we used to live in a country where politics was avoided and people focused on their profession. But over the last 5, maybe even 10 years, the disease of politics, it has infected every facet of American society. And look at the end result. The country has never been more divided, and Hollywood, along with their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they're on life support. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. Earlier today on the second channel, talked about the brutal day yesterday in the NFL. I know I bitch about the NFL a lot. It's not something I really enjoy doing. I enjoy making fun of the WNBA. That gives me pleasure. But I don't really like criticizing the NFL. I like watching the NFL. Problem is, the league is becoming harder and harder to watch, which is why I keep complaining about it, because I want the NFL to be better. I explain why the NFL is becoming unwatchable. I pinpoint exactly why yesterday was so painfully boring. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Back in the 90s, and I guess maybe this is true to some extent today, Leonardo DiCaprio was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Now, I don't know if he still is today, because to be honest with you, I don't know if Hollywood creates big stars anymore. Think about it. Who are the biggest movie stars today? In the 90s and 2000s, you had Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Macaulay Culkin, Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz, Lindsay Lohan, Nicolas Cage, Matthew McConaughey, Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Farley. These people were major stars. Name one Hollywood actor today that is guaranteed to be a success at the box office. Name one. I'll admit, I don't keep up with it. I'm out of touch with Hollywood, but I know for damn sure that the movie industry is on life support. Remember when Titanic came out in the late 90s? I'm not talking about the current Titanic known as CNN, which is rapidly sinking. I'm talking about the movie Titanic that was about the actual ship. Leonardo DiCaprio, he was the star of the film, generated over $2 billion at the box office. The budget was just over $200 million, which was a gigantic budget at the time. The studio was concerned that they would not see a return. Not only did they see a return, the movie generated profit that was 10 times the amount of their original investment. Recently, Leonardo DiCaprio, he starred in his latest film. He took a break from preaching about climate change from his multi-million-dollar yacht, took a sabbatical from preaching about the dangers of global warming from his private jet that expels toxic fumes, mainly from his own ass, and he starred in a film called One Battle After Another. The movie, I guess, had a star-studded cast. Sean Penn, another woke wanker spanker, he was cast in the supporting role. The film's about a far-left militant group called French 75. I think the 75 represents the number of Preparation H tubes needed to cure their hangover after the Butt Bongo Festival. This militant group, they are responsible for helping illegal immigrants escape from being detained by ICE. So, You've got Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the lead pastors at Woke United Methodist, someone who spends their free time flying around on private jets while trying to convince us that the earth is one ferocious fart away from combusting. You got Sean Penn, who is another radical maniac, and they're starring in a film that seems to be anti-ICE. Before the movie was even released, you've already alienated over half the country, but that's okay. I'm sure all those woke welfare collectors, I'm sure all those people living in tents at the No Kings protest eating their dinner from the garbage can buffet, I'm sure they rode their tricycles to the movie theater and supported this movie, right? The budget for this anti-ICE turd, $175 million. Once you include marketing and promotion, the final budget for the film was probably around $300 million. The movie was released on September 26th. Now, according to my calendar, that was 4 weeks ago? In the last 4 weeks, one battle after another, it has generated $163 million. But KC, that's just domestically. I'm sure once you include international numbers, this film was a huge success. The 163 million, that is with international numbers included. Here in America, the film only generated 62 million. Once you split revenue with the movie theaters, this movie is on pace to lose at least $100 million. Leonardo DiCaprio's last movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, it was released in 2023. It lost $50 to $100 million. 2 years before that, he released a movie called Don't Look Up. Budget was $75 million. That movie, it generated less than $800,000 at the box office. Do I really need to keep going? And look, it's not just Leonardo DiCaprio who generates less profit than the WNBA dump. Disney has been struggling for years. Late night television is on the brink of bankruptcy. By this time next year, it is entirely possible that the genre of late night television no longer exists. I cannot think of the last major film in Hollywood. The question is why? What happened? The answer is Hollywood is out of touch with normal people. A lot of the stars that I listed earlier from the 90s and 2000s, they became infected with the woke fungus. They started lecturing instead of acting. Robert De Niro has lost his damn mind. He looks like the father of Keith Olbermann. Keithy Pooh! And Keithy Pooh, he looks like the old lady next door who is constantly looking out her window while telling the neighbor's dog to quit dropping its doodle in her front yard. Instead of producing entertaining films, Hollywood started focusing on indoctrination. The problem is, normal people finally figured it out. Normal people figured out that Hollywood stars are out of their mind. Hollywood lost the trust of America, and once trust is lost, it is damn near impossible to get it back. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.